My name is Noah, and I'm joined by my friend and collaborator, Rami.
Hello.
We are the hosts of Voices Unearthed, a weekly, hour-long show inviting underground artists of all disciplines to share stories, techniques, and advice about their respective industry.
We'll be interviewing creatives every Tuesday at noon, so tune in right here on Spirit Live Radio.
Thanks, see ya.
1 2 1 2
1 2 testing.
Hello.
Hello.
Test.
Can you hear me?
I don't know. Wait, can we hear you?
I can't even hear myself.
Is your mic on? Are you muted?
Yeah, no, my mic's on.
Double check.
Yeah, no.
Wait, hold on.
There we. Hello.
I can hear you on the headphones. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. Dope. I guess we're good. Well, happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Look at us. We're in our costumes and all that stuff. I don't know if y'all saw the movie this weekend, but that was pretty
Farah,
good.
did you see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
I didn't see that. I didn't see it yet. I
dang.
could tell you guys seen it though, right?
Oh my God.
Maybe just
We
a tad.
saw it and we loved it so much.
Good. It was so
We
good.
loved it so much.
Sorry.
But we are back here today on Voices on Earth. This is our second episode. Last
right.
week we talked to rappers Calvin Moon and Ali about their successes, struggles, inspirations, techniques that they use in navigating their careers. And today we're back talking a little bit about R&B, the R&B Toronto sound. And
That's
on
right.
our show today, we
Wait, before we get to that, I just want to stamp, our quick trigger warnings in case we say something that may come off as offensive, might be a bit of coarse language, etc., as well as this show doesn't represent any...
The opinions
of what...
expressed in Voices on Earth are individual and are not necessarily representative of Spirit Live or Toronto Metropolitan University. Thank you for listening.
That was incredibly robotic, man.
It was perfect.
Yeah,
I think it worked for this.
All right, I think I'm gonna take off the mask. Let's get into this. Happy Halloween, guys! We're back with another episode of Voices on Earth, and with us today, I wrote our lovely guest here a little intro. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hailing from Brampton, Ontario, she's a Palestinian, French, and Canadian singer and songwriter with 10 years of experience with the goal of bringing more attention to women in Toronto R&B scene. Please welcome Farah the Misguided.
Woo!
Hi. Hey.
I'm so excited to be on the show today. We're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff. I'm really glad to be here, and thanks for bringing me on the show, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So happy to have you on, Farah.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I was saying to you before we started the show, I think both of us the first time we saw you was at the No Status event way back in February. And it was just like we saw Calvin Moon and Ali and all the other performers there. You're just incredibly talented, such an interesting voice and such a great performance, and everything about your songs is just like we were saying this morning, like...
Yeah,
production value is just crazy. It's crazy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going through your stuff yesterday, and I really like your song "Almond Eyes." I added it to one of my playlists.
Yeah.
So
Everyone loves that one. That one's like a favorite.
cool.
I see why. It's really good.
It's so
really
good. Maybe we'll get a minute to play it later on the episode.
We should.
I would love that.
I think that would be super dope because that was such an awesome song.
Really
so
Thank you.
we just want to take some time to ask you about yourself, and just we'll see where that goes. You know?
For sure. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, like, how did you come up with the name Farah the Misguided? Like, where did that name come from?
Oh, I really love this question. So my real name, I don't care about exposing it, is Roxanne Afara. And my last name is Afara, so I dropped the A and I added the H because Farah in Arabic means happiness. So I put happiness misguided because oftentimes I feel in my life I keep searching for something like that makes me happy, you know? And then once I have it, I kind of get bored of it, so I keep searching. So I'm misguided in that sense of I can't find what I'm looking for, you know?
Oh, wow.
So that's what I really put those two together, and I put it as Farah the Misguided.
Oh, so
That's dope.
awesome.
That's dope.
That's such a cool... I didn't even realize there was like that double meaning to it.
Yeah.
No, me neither. I honestly would have just guessed that your name was Farah, and that was
Yeah,
A lot of
I was
people do.
going to say the same thing. So it's
Yeah.
Roxanne.
Roxanne, yeah.
Oh,
But don't
that's
call
nice.
me that.
We'll call you Farah the Misguided.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we'll refer to you as.
No worries.
And So you are 22 and you are a singer-songwriter creating music in R&B and the neo soul genres.
Yeah.
How would you define the difference between R&B and neo soul? What makes neo soul stand out a bit?
So I feel like what I kind of do is a little bit like experimental. Like it kind of blends the two genres together. So for me to say like R&B and neo soul, like I'm saying like I'm dabbling kind of in this and in that, and like I kind of combine the two together. So for me, like some of my inspirations are like Erykah Badu a lot, and she drives a lot of neo soul. So I kind of try to push that in my music with my flow and the kind of rhythms and melodies that my producers use. So I try and do that. But in terms of R&B, sometimes I dabble in that, and I do like one of my first songs that came out, Right By You. That's definitely more R&B, and I feel like now though I'm going towards more the neo soul type of stuff because that's what I'm like really vibing with, like Anderson .Paak type stuff, even like dancey kind of neo soul stuff like that, you know.
So stuff that kind of plays on like older sounds, older soul sounds, and those kinds of inspirations. That's the stuff that inspires most of your stuff. Who inspires your more modern contemporary R&B kind of sound?
I feel like I really like Kali Uchis. Like I love her music, especially like her new projects like Wishy Roses. That's a really big one that I really love right now, and I'm doing some more slow jam stuff. Some of my own releases like super slow jam stuff that I'm gonna put out soon hopefully. But I'm really into that, and a lot of people might not vibe with the slow music, you know, but it's not meant to be like dance to. It's meant to like invoke a feeling, you know, and like maybe you can get high to it. Maybe you can just chill and like listen to it with like somebody that you love or something, you know. It's really to like invoke a feeling.
That's sort of the things I wanted to touch on, because I listened to the EP as well as I went back and read the lyrics too, just to fully get it. And from what I could tell, I mean, without getting too much into it, just if you don't want, I mean, it's pretty vulnerable. And so my first thought was like, was it a hard process for you to get into the space where you could open up like that with your audience and be as vulnerable as you did on the project?
That's actually a really good question. Definitely was pretty vulnerable for me to do that. To be honest, majority of my music is me kind of saying things that I would never say out loud, but that I can sing. So I try to like put that in my music, and I haven't really realized like a lot of the people reading it, like even my dad, he's like, "What do you mean by this?" And he'll read my lyrics. He's like, "Who is this about?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, what did I just do?"
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, you have to kind of just put yourself out there. You have to not be afraid about like what other people are going to think, what other people are going to say. You know, you just have to kind of say what you feel, and other people are probably feeling that same thing. And when you sing about it, they'll be like, wow, like somebody else feels that way. Like I can resonate with that. They were able to open up and be sensitive and get in tune with their emotions, you know? So like maybe I can do that too, you know, and like relate to it. Especially my song Gemini. At every one of my shows, I always ask before I perform it, what is the X, like your ex's horoscope sign? And everybody starts yelling their ex's horoscope sign. And until I hear the word Gemini, I don't start. And I'm like, oh, I heard someone say Gemini because that's the name of my song. And it really invokes a feeling in everybody in the crowd there because they all have someone they hate that's probably a Gemini.
They all get it, yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. So I'm guessing your ex was a Gemini?
It wasn't I can't be talking about this.
We don't have to go
He
into that.
wasn't really an ex, but yeah, he was a Gemini.
Oh, I see. So I guess that's where you draw on the inspiration for that song.
Yeah. I feel like I kind of blended a couple exes together for that song. But he was like about the hook for sure. It was about him.
Okay.
Multiple different Gemini just all on the song.
Multiple.
They just all happen to be the same
Yeah, it all
sign.
happened like crazy, huh?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So off that, I'm guessing your first performance sort of went well. I mean, I don't know if Gemini was what you first started with. I know we saw you in February before the EP dropped, but based on the energy that the audience gave you, how is your first performance ever?
I feel like my first performance ever, I've done a lot of different ones. I think my first one was a feature on my friend's song actually at like Clinton's. And it was actually kind of crazy. I was so shy and we were like bumping into each other on the stage. But it was just still great to be up there. Like you feel like the adrenaline pumping through you, you know, like the crowd is there. And like comparing that though to like the shows I do now, I'm so much more confident in the way I present myself. I know how to like talk with the audience, you know, I know how to get the ball rolling, what songs to do to start with in my set, like strategically planning out my set so that people are engaged, you know, and actually listening to the music and dancing. So I feel like I've grown so much since then, because there's a point where you have to realize, okay, I can't just be like slopping like my set list together and hoping for the best, you know, or not rehearsing my songs at all. So I feel like since then, especially with my EP release, the love has been so good on it at shows that I'm meeting people, and people have never done that to me before, where they come up and they're like, can I get your Spotify? Are you on Apple Music? You know, and it feels really good to get the love that I've been working so hard, especially with the EP and the new music that I'm making right now.
That's so cool.
Awesome. That's really good.
That's so gratifying, you know, just to like have people come up to you and just sort of show appreciation for your art, you know. It's like, and it takes a while to get there, you know, because people really don't care. That's what I've learned from experience, is that people really don't care. Like you can push and push and push and be like, follow my socials, you know, follow me on Spotify, listen to this new. Nobody's gonna care until you basically have to shove it down their throat, right? You have to like perform it, and they have to like hear it, they have to lock in, and then they'll be like, oh my god, I'm glad I gave this a chance.
Exactly. But the thing is, you shove it down their throats and they have to choose if they want to swallow it or not, you know. And I mean, that's a very weird metaphor, but like
Very graphic.
Yeah, a little bit. Bad.
but I mean it in like the sense of like, they're gonna choose whether or not, oh, I like this music and I want to pursue it, you know, and I'm gonna follow you and I'm gonna like keep up with your new updates and see if you're releasing new music, you know, like, because a lot of people, they're not gonna put in the effort to do that unless they really, really like your music, you know. So I feel like in terms of that, I've noticed once I like kind of push off, like, you still obviously have to promo your stuff and do everything, but like once I've kind of let a little leniency, people are more willing to like kind of come in. It's like you have to give space for them kind of to like come towards you, if that makes sense. You know.
Yeah, you can't come off as too desperate, otherwise it's just gonna come off as that, and it's like, why would we listen to your stuff? Because like you're just fiending for it, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to see kind of like, not you act like a celebrity, but like they want to see you kind of just like have that little gap where you're like not trying too hard.
You have to have
know?
confidence.
Exactly.
It's this aura, you know. You have to have this aura that it's like, like it, don't like it, I don't care. Like I like it, and I'm gonna keep
Sorry.
I'm gonna keep like putting love into this, my craft, and it's like, you can join me on this journey or you cannot, you know, because I will find people to join me, and then if they don't want to, then that's their loss.
They can go on their own path.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
their loss.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't fall into the trap of like, you know, now I have to make content because I want people to like it. You still have to like your own stuff, regardless of what people do or not. Like, if you don't stay true to your craft and what you like to do, then you're just dooming yourself from the start.
If you're just making content for the algorithm, people are gonna realize like this is ingenuine, you know, and they're not gonna wanna like mess around with somebody who's fake, you know, and just trying to be like everybody else. They want to see someone trying to be real and being themselves.
That's the biggest dilemma, right? Because right now the biggest way to get your music out there is TikTok, right? And so many artists right now are making music that is TikTok music, right? Music that is deliberately crafted so that there's at least like one part of it that will blow up as a sound, and then it gets really big, right? And it's a really effective way to get your music to pop. But then after that, it's like nobody cares after that one song. You know, it's
You're
like
forgotten about.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no substance for your song to like kind of live on. Like we talk a lot about like when I was in college about timeless music and kind of music that kind of fades away. And timeless music, like a lot of people are like, oh well, I know like Elton John and like the Bee Gees and like all these like classic bands and stuff like Rush, Led Zeppelin, you know. But at the same time now it's like, what are we trying to think of like household names in terms of like artists like that? And a lot of people on TikTok, they're not trying to be a household name or make music that lives on, you know, and that someone in 10 years is gonna pull up and be like, oh, this is my favorite song. They're just making music that's gonna blow up for the time being, and then we're gonna forget about it in a week and on to the next thing. And even the whole song, like you're saying, the whole song is not even maybe good. It's just that one part that they curated for TikTok.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And
Which
that's
is really sad.
It doesn't get you anywhere, you know. And it's like, it'll get you a little bit, but then it's after that. Like, if you really want to make yourself known as like an artist and not just someone with a TikTok hit, right? If you really want to be an artist, you just got to do what you want to do. Don't do
Exactly.
what, like, if it's good, the success will come to you, but you just gotta, and make it happen. You gotta put in that work, but like, do what you want to do at the end of the day.
Exactly.
I
Good.
wanted to ask, because you said that your first performance went good, the energy was really good. How did you curate your set list? Like what was your first song? What was your last song? Like, how did you organize that? And did you have transitions? Did you make your own? Like, what was the situation there?
So I think like my first show with like a real set list and the energy was really good was at this kind of rented venue near like Kensington. And for that one, very small show, but like energy was great. And I did curate my set list for that one. I feel like I'm already like a very organized like person and a perfectionist. So I have to make sure like my set list is really good. So I was looking through it, and for that one, I feel like I kind of dragged on, and the songs I picked weren't that great. But looking like to now, I'm like, no, that was my first show. Like for your first show, it's hard, you know, putting yourself out there all by yourself. So to be honest, I feel like in terms of like putting it together, I didn't put too much thought into it, and I kind of was just like, I'm gonna feel out the crowd and like hope that they feel my vibe, you know.
That's dope. Yeah, because it's at the end of the day, it's just the energy you get from the crowd is really going to determine how good your show is.
Exactly.
You know?
If you're like, you have to feed off of them to kind of like empower you, if that makes sense, you know. And if they're kind of like putting you down and they're not really like paying attention to you, that's kind of like gonna like dishearten you, and you're gonna kind of feel down. So I feel like that really does affect kind of your set, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like a reciprocation thing, you know. Like, you know, you can go with a set list and going with what you want to do, but at the end of the day, it's like it's all about energy. I mean, I can't speak too much to it because I've never performed as a musician, but from what I can tell, it's a lot of push and pull. You got to really see what the audience is feeling and what they're not, and how it affects you. So
Absolutely, no, 100%.
Yeah.
We wanted to ask because you know, we learned that you play the synthesizer and that you're self-taught.
This is crazy. Where did you find it?
We found it.
No, don't say it.
Oh my god.
You are Farah the Misguided. We have to know.
It's
You guys are like narc.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we did extensive research.
Oh my
just a little
gosh.
bit.
But we found out. So do you self-produce all of your stuff, or do you work mostly with producers?
So I work a lot. Like all my music out currently is with producers. I do have a song out though, Essence, and that was co-produced. I made a demo, and then the producer. I work with one main producer on majority of my music, and his name is Adam, but his artist name is Kaiden, and he's very, very talented. Produced my entire EP, and I engineered it. I recorded myself, did all the vocal layers, everything. But the mix and master, professional, because when you make really good music and you work really hard, like on the lyrics and the production, you know, and you just kind of forget about all the mix and master, then you're kind of just like, oh, well, I worked really hard for nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Like you really have to, because I feel like that really affects how the mix will sound and whatnot, you know? But in terms of the production, I've been getting a lot into it lately, trying to produce my own stuff. Again, all unreleased stuff, but I'm looking to really perfect like kind of my production skills, if that makes sense. Like I'm not exactly there yet with like in terms of sound selection. I'm still like working on trying to hone in on what sounds good, what genre I want to produce and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Wait, so Kaiden, he produced like was he the sole producer on all of your songs on the EP?
Yes.
That's so cool. And what do you use to what software and like what do you use to make it?
He produces in Ableton and I use Logic.
You use Logic? But you send the mix and master out for somebody else to do, or you do it yourself?
Yeah. So I bounce out all the stems and then I send them over.
Oh, that's really smart. Oh, it must take a while though to get all the stems out there.
Oh no, not at all. You can select them all at like once and then boom, bounce it out.
Wow.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Hey, dang. You
That's
gotta try
awesome.
that,
Yeah, I gotta start getting people to mix my stuff. It's getting ridiculous.
Speaking of sort of like on like the route of, you know, collaborating, I think, you know, a lot of this industry is collaborating, whether it's producers or with other artists, and even on your EP, your song "Woman" with Kairos, if I'm saying that right. Shout out to Kairos. I just want to know what your sort of, I guess, like what's it been like navigating the network scene so far? Like, Have there been negative experiences? Have you walked away thinking like, yeah, I like working with this person, or no, I haven't like working with this person. I'm not gonna touch that again.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like been a lot of those. So like I told you, since I've been getting into production, I have been looking to work with like my own beats with other people, but a lot of people are more hesitant, especially like, I won't lie, being like a female producer and a singer songwriter and even engineer, sometimes people kind of overlook you, or they don't believe you, you know, or they like just kind of doubt you. Like I've walked a lot into a room when I was in the past, I was seeing someone who worked at a studio, and every time I was there, artists would come in, they'd say hi to every single man in the room, and they would completely ignore me. They wouldn't shake my hand, nothing, you know, and it feels like kind of disheartening, because it's like, as a woman, am I not as like am I not living up to like what they are? Like, it doesn't make any sense, you know? It's kind of, it's very upsetting to see that. But now I've noticed where like the situations I put myself in, a lot more people are coming up to me, introducing themselves, you know? So I feel like it was the environment I was in that some artists, they do not like respect women that are in the studio, and they don't think that they're like as half as like they are or whatever, you know? So I feel like now though, I've reached a point where I don't care if somebody ignores me, you know? Because I know my worth, I know what I bring and my value to the studio. So if they don't want anything to do with that, that's on them. It's their loss, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, at the end of the day, no, it's ridiculous. People will, always sometimes let their biases get in the way of exploring different creative avenues and stuff, and forming relationships with other people in the industry. That's terrible, though. You know, it's
awful.
It's frustrating, especially it's like you want to be heard and you're just not getting heard. It's disgusting, man.
But yeah, like at the same time, there's not. I mean, it sucks, but you know, there's maybe not a ton that can happen or do about it. So I think, you know, with your attitude of just like, whatever, you don't want to talk to me, you know,
Exactly.
just live with yourself. I'm gonna do me, stay in your own lane, whatever. I'll see you at the top, or maybe not. Probably not. Right?
I'll see them at the bottom while
I
I'm
see the
looking
bottom.
at the top.
Let's go.
You know?
Yeah, no, 100%. Because you just can't let those people get to you, you know?
No, if you let people like that get to you, no, I'd be done by now. There's like so many people that have said things like that. People in my family, men in my family, who have like kind of tried to bring me down, you know, and like be like, oh, like you're not really like you should choose something else. Choose a job with benefits that has insurance, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, no, like I'm never doing that. This is my only thing, you know. So many people along the way will try to bring you down, even like kind of other artists, you know, and it's really sad to say not everybody in the community is like supporting and uplifting. A lot of people get jealous and they try to bring you down, you know, and there's a lot of jealousy, I will say, in the industry, and it really sucks because especially like as women, we should be bringing each other up, you know, not being like against each other. So
exactly.
It's like being in solidarity with your other artists. I think that's super important. But yeah, no, even like we just see it all the time, you know, especially artists with ego, you know, like, or artists, creatives that have an ego. It's just like it's so annoying to work with them.
It's intolerable. You can't work with people like that, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I think I've not really backed out of a project, but I've worked with some people sometimes, and then I'm just like, I can't work with you again, you know? Like, if I have patience, like, I have a lot of patience for somebody. If you take a while to send something back to me, if you maybe, like, take a while to record or whatever the case may be, you know, I'm very patient, but at the same time, if you misuse somebody's patience and, like, over and over again to the point where I'm like, I'm just being used at this point, you know, there has to be, like, boundaries that you set, like, within the music community so that people aren't walking all over you for your talents.
No, 100%.
Absolutely. You said that, you know, sort of how your support system is and everything. You said that you went to college before. Was that for music? Or was that, it was. Oh, okay.
It was for music. I went to music industry arts at Fanshawe College about 2 years ago. I think I graduated.
Cool,
I was like
cool.
20, I think.
Okay. And I was there like a hesitance of just like, oh, should I keep doing school? Should I see where school goes?
Oh, I couldn't afford more school.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't afford more school. It was very, very, very expensive program, but it's a really good program, I will say, and it's only 2 years.
Okay.
So you get access to like all the studios there, which is amazing. So I was there like all the time making music, like learning how to use like Pro Tools and stuff like that. So honestly, like, was definitely worth it, but very expensive. I feel like after college, I was thinking like, what am I gonna do now? Because as a musician, you're like, well, I have to start somewhere, you know. And it kind of takes a while to kind of kick off like what you're doing, like live performances, releasing music, you know. And that's so much money, and you have to have another job to support that. So it's very hard.
What would you say a piece of advice is to students that are aspiring artists and they're in university or college right now? Like, what's a piece of advice you give to them based on your own experience?
Oh, this is tricky. I want to give some good advice here. I would say just keep going, you know, no matter how little like you're able to put in on the side while you're in school, because it's very hard. Even if you're like just writing music, you know, and doing like little voice memos on your phone, like keep doing it, you know, keep trying. Pirate that software. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't pirate that.
Yes.
Don't do that.
We're college students. We can't
Stop.
pay. Come on.
We do not have enough money
No,
for
we
this.
don't. Please let us use your sites for free.
Come to me. I'll give you the cracked Logic file. I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
No,
But
we'll talk after.
literally,
Send us the
like,
beats.
just put in like those little bits. Make that demo that you've always wanted to do, you know? Because like there's time is like wasting every single day, you know? You don't like put in that energy to make the art that you want to create, you know? Because if you have it in your mind, like get it out there. The world wants to hear it. You don't know, like if you don't put it out there.
Exactly.
Like, you'll never know if you don't put it out there. Like that's the best thing I could probably say.
There's many scared and nervous youth trying to get into the industry that are just like scared to make that leap. I mean, for example, I dropped out of TMU to pursue acting. I went to Toronto Film School and like left it all behind. But even then, I still didn't know what was gonna happen. But I think as long as you take that leap of, can you hear me properly? No? Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think you just gotta have faith. You just gotta have faith that it will work out, and you have to just take that leap of faith and see where it goes realistically. Yeah.
I agree. I feel like a lot of times people have music that they've made and then they just never release it, or they just hold on to it and they're like, oh yeah, like I don't know, like I need to do this, and it's like at the same time, if you keep needing to do something, then you're never gonna drop it. There's always gonna be something you have to do for it, you know. Oh, the mix is not ready. Oh, this, I need to add some vocals, you know. Just drop it. Like stop waiting around for it to change, you know. Like just do what you gotta do in the moment, and like stop overthinking everything. Like your like kind of inner saboteur is like your biggest hater, you know. Your self-doubt, all those insecurities, like don't let them project onto your art, you know.
Maybe I should take this advice. That's the one thing that I've had so much trouble with is just getting around to it, you know. Just like I keep pushing the music back. Like I get like stuck on school and I get stuck on like everything, and it's like, I'll do it another night, you know. It's
don't do it. Stay up till 4 and finish the song.
Exactly.
That's what I keep trying to do, and it's like, oh my god, it's just because then what happens is if I'm up super late working on my music, the next morning I wake up and I play it back. I'm like, what did I make? Like, this is so, this is terrible.
This is garbage.
Yeah, no, and it's like,
but at least you stayed up and you did it.
You
yeah,
tried.
a starting
Tried,
point,
right?
like a
It's
starting
like the
point.
work ethic. Then you know how in like GTA, like the character when you're like running and you run for long, like it adds like a boost or something.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
you're
yeah.
leveled up. It's like you're leveling up. Now it's adding to your like work ethic,
Your
and you've
stamina.
leveled up.
Yeah.
You know.
What
so.
an interesting comparison. I never thought
I've never
we
even
would take
thought
that
of to
route.
compare GTA.
I said that the other day to my friends, and they're like, "That's good." So I'm using it.
Yeah, it's smart. It's smart.
I'm gonna start using it now, probably. Literally.
I wanted to ask about your EP, Virgo's Crescent. Virgo's Crescent was released in July of this year. It's your debut EP.
Yes.
Must have been very exciting to release it.
So exciting.
What was the significance of the title, Virgo's Crescent? I noticed it also has to do with astrology, kind of like your song Gemini. So like what's the theme there?
So basically I was kind of moving houses at the time. So I said I am from Brampton because I am from Brampton. I actually was born in Stratford, but when I was like 2, I moved to Brampton and I grew up there. And I moved last year around like August kind of time, and I moved to Cambridge, and the street that I lived on in Brampton was called Lacewood Crescent. So I really wanted to kind of emphasize like of me moving on and kind of like growing from the past to like the present. And since I've moved, I feel like I've put so much more effort into my music career. Since I've kind of made my studio, I've put so much more effort into my home studio. I have proper speakers, proper mic setup, like proper mic, like kind of insulation stuff, you know? Because I'm like, I need to dedicate 100%. And when I was living in Brampton, I wasn't dedicating 100%. I was super distracted with my friends living there. But out in the middle of nowhere, where none of my friends live, you have nothing to do but make music, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like that has really put me in a better place music-wise, even though maybe like social-wise not the best.
No, it must have been a hard transition, you know, socially, going from being in Brampton with your people to Cambridge. I don't know anybody who lives. My uncle used to live in Cambridge.
It's just old people out there. It's just old people out there.
Yeah.
They see like your speakers blasting from like the next house down, like.
And I have a house. They live like we share a driveway. They live right next to me, so you can hear the speakers outside.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I've gone outside and I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh my god, it's my speaker.
My speaker's still hooked up to my Bluetooth.
Do they get pissed, your neighbors, when you make music?
No,
or
because they're like always doing like things. So
yeah. You said they're also old, so maybe their hearing is.
Stop! No, they're young. They're young, actually.
They're young?
Yeah,
They're young?
Oh, okay.
Everyone else is old.
Everyone else wouldn't be bothered by the
Just
music.
like, what's that faint sound? I'm doing?
Yeah, what is that? Let me turn up my hearing aid.
Sonny, can you hear that?
What is that? What is that noise?
No, but literally.
What was your biggest challenge in putting? It seems like your biggest success was, you know, having like the space and the time to actually dedicate to your music. What was your biggest challenge in putting Virgo's Crescent together?
I feel like a lot of times I get boggled down with the details of putting like music together, like the mix, the stems, like you're saying. Sometimes it's very tedious to get all of that stuff together, you know, and send it off. Like I'm getting the stems from my producer for the instruments, you know, I'm getting the stems from myself for the vocals, putting that all in a folder, you know, sending it off to the mix engineer, and doing that for like 5 or 6 different songs. You know, it takes a lot of work. You have to make sure everything is in the right format and stuff, or else it can get messed up. And I feel like a lot of that was kind of boggling me down, like slowing me down. And then the cover, and I also did the cover art for the EP. Wow. So I was like, a lot of this stuff, I was like, I need to like get it done. And I'm not good at that. Like time management is not my strong suit. I'm most likely late to things today. I made sure today I wasn't late. I was on time.
She was before us. She was before us.
I am the least punctual person, but we still managed to show up on time.
We did, although I got to this guy's place and he was still getting ready at like 11:30. I was like, gosh.
You're Arab. You're like me. We're always late.
They're never on time. You are like...
I'm pretty late sometimes, but like I try to be on time for like work stuff.
Formal
and,
stuff.
Important things.
Formal, exactly.
It's only when I'm sitting on my curb waiting for him to pick me up when we're hanging out. That's when he takes 45 minutes.
Listen, there's things I gotta do. No,
just too busy.
Doing work
playing
stuff,
with his cat or something. Just hanging out with his family.
He's learning how to use a Rubik's Cube.
Just finding shit to do at home.
Yeah, it's like I'm coming. I'm just doing Rubik's and cat. I don't know.
Doing Rubik's and cat. My 2 favorite pastimes.
Yeah, so real.
What was your favorite song on the EP and why?
That's such a hard decision. Okay, I'm gonna pick a top 2. I really like Almond Eyes and Gemini.
I like Almond Eyes.
And I love Almond Eyes because I re-recorded that one actually. Like the lyrics for that one were way different than before. And I had originally a completely different rhythm for it. And then I was listening to it, and kind of like how you said you re-listen to it in the morning, you're like, it's trash. And I re-listened, and I was like, I could do so much better than this, you know? So I went up, I was writing some stuff for it, and then I was like, I can't think of another verse and like another thing for this. Should I like rewrite one? Or and I was listening to the song more, and I'm like, you know what I gotta do? I gotta repeat like this and this like a second time, and that's the song.
Right.
Because like instead of thinking too much and like trying to fit a verse that's not gonna fit, I was like, it would flow so beautifully if I just repeated it, you know? And it really did. And also it makes the lyrics stick in the like listener's head more, you know? And also it makes it more catchy when it's repeated. Yeah. So I really love that one like a lot. That one's like really beautiful.
That's good. Yeah, no, I think you gotta go back and give it the best performance you can. If you're not feeling it, even when you wake up after 4 a.m., you're like, I don't know, but I still feel like I can make the song good. You just gotta give it your all if you think there's potential in that particular project.
That's low key the worst because you're like, oh my god, I thought I was done with this,
Right.
and then
Yeah,
you
you
have to
gotta
go
do the entire
revisit and
thing
you have
again.
to
I
tune it
know
up.
those ones, and then
sucks.
you're like, I have to record this again.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I mean, it works out at the end of the day. You know,
It
it's
does work
worth
out
it.
because look, now like a lot of people really love that song. You know, it's getting like you said, the gratification from getting the love from the song. It feels so great. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that should we listen to your
Let's
song
listen to Almond
I
Eyes.
would
Almond Eyes
love
Let's go for it.
that.
Yeah,
Let's tune in.
Let's listen
Stay
to
tuned.
Almond
This is
Eyes.
Almond Eyes by Farah the Misguided.
right here on Voices on Earth.
Let's go.
These almond eyes, seek out what's inside. More than these almond eyes. Seek out to truly find. Looking out for my safe haven. What is something? Waiting for this revelation. What is something? These almond eyes, seek out what's inside. These almond eyes. Seek out to truly find. Looking out for my safe haven. What is something? Waiting for this revelation. What is something?
All
Well,
right,
that was Almond Eyes by Farah the Misguided.
Oh,
Right here, we
Yeah,
played
yeah,
that right
yeah.
live. Super smooth track. We were just saying it. We can definitely hear the Erica influence, and it's just my favorite part was the eyes, the whole like the vocal bouncy vocal things. I
nice
don't
note.
even,
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't even
yeah.
know how you did that. That was so crazy. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
awesome song. Really great way to really great like lead track on the EP because that was like that was the most successful one, right? So I thought
That
that
one in
was
Gemini is pretty good right now.
super dope, super dope.
So you have a favorite song, a couple favorite songs. Is there a least favorite song, maybe that you were like,
All together, overall.
yeah, just not on the EP, like all together, your entire discography.
Oh, my entire discography?
Yeah.
I would definitely say Okay, some of the songs I like, but the mixes were terrible. Like, there's this one song I have with my friend called TLC. Great track, he produced it, but I did the mix. I know nothing about mixing when I mix this, okay? The low end on it, like, you can't barely even hear the drums. I'm like, where are the drums? And I don't really perform that song a lot because when I hear the mix, I just get so angry, you know?
Yeah.
And if I redo it, I'm like, the one out is gonna still sound like that, right?
Yeah.
So that one kind of like disappointed in myself for kind of releasing a mix just because I wanted the song out really quick, you know?
Yeah.
But
At the end of the day, like, it probably sounds a lot worse to you than it does to everybody else.
It
'cause
definitely
We're our
does.
biggest critics, you know?
it definitely does too, because that song got like 6K streams, and I'm like, how does this
Whoa.
have 6,000
Dang, wow.
streams?
That's good love right
Very
there.
good, yeah.
That's awesome. Great numbers.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. And I was like, where is this love on my EP?
Yeah, no, that deserved so much more attention, man.
The algorithm, man, it hates me.
Yeah, no, it's got a vendetta every time.
Got a vendetta.
It just happens anytime you drop a big project, you spend your life on it. It's just like, nope, we're just gonna turn the other way. I mean,
Tell me
yeah,
about it.
it's
You
so
really,
odd.
I think I've learned as an artist, you have to put as much money you're putting into the production and the lyrics and recording as you do into the marketing. If like I spent so much money on the production, mixing, mastering, you know, the recording pretty good because I just recorded myself, so I didn't pay for studio time. But like in terms of that, if you flop on the marketing and you put so much money in and you expect to like see numbers and stuff, that's not gonna happen, you know? So you really only have yourself to blame if your project kind of flops, which sucks to say it, but you have to take accountability somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's a cutthroat industry, you know. You really have to put in that work. You are responsible for it, or your manager, or whoever's
Whoever's
like,
in charge.
Exactly.
whoever's in charge of your marketing. Basically, you gotta put that work in.
Exactly.
You gotta put the work
Most
in.
annoying part.
It definitely is the most annoying part, especially if you are an independent artist.
Yeah.
And I actually was asked the other day by a friend of mine, they're like, why don't you like try to find a manager or like a team or something? And they're like, you're growing as an artist, you have like so much potential. And then they kind of like looked at me like for a while after like saying this, and they're like, oh, they're like, I know why you're not. They're like, you want to see how far you can go on your own. And I was like, you're 110% right. I want to see what I'm capable of, you know, to do all by myself. And right now, like I've done so much by myself. I've done, I think, about 7 or 8 shows this year, all by myself. I've gotten them, and just networking, meeting people. I released an EP independently, you know, did the cover art for that, and now I work at a studio. So it's really gratifying to see the like flowers of your work come up when you put in all those seeds, you know. So it just, I'm really happy to say that, oh, I did this all by myself, and I want to keep going and keep pushing myself to see the extent and the boundaries of how far I can go.
Oh, very.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. It is really gratifying. You know, you want to see how much you can do.
And it's
you
like
yourself.
I did this all.
I did this by myself. Like, what can you do for me because I have this and this and this on my resume that I did myself?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need you. You know, you can maybe add if I like maybe your style and your stuff like that. But like at the same time, it's like, I know that I'm confident. Like, I don't need to be begging anybody for anything, you know, because I could get it by myself.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
you kind of you're recording your own music. You're setting up your own like concert performances and stuff. You're coordinating those. You're doing your own marketing, and you're kind of like, you know, managing your own stuff. So yeah, very autonomous. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
it's very tricky, but it's like, and you make your own covers as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like-
hurts.
yeah,
Like the Almond Eyes cover right here.
Yeah, I made that.
Virgo's Crescent. How did you make this?
Photoshop.
Photoshop?
I
That's,
drew out some shapes and then I like warped them, and yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's very nice.
So
Thank you.
such cool detail. I really love that. And is that the Virgo sign?
Yeah, at the bottom.
You a Virgo?
Yes, that's exactly why it's called Virgo's Crescent.
And
It's mine.
what are you like? What's your birthday? What's
September 16th.
September 16th? We were probably the first ones to know Farah the Misguided's birthday.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
You hit
oh
it
my
here
God.
first. Let's go.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fun fact.
I wanted to ask. Well, did you want to ask anything first?
I guess, I mean, we talked a little bit about it outside, but we had Calvin Moon and Ollie on last week, and I know, again, we saw you in No Status. You've done multiple shows with them, and so how did you get involved with them when you were sort of starting out? I know you said you met Calvin because of No Status, and then you don't know where you met Ollie, but how did that sort of get in?
So, like, I met, okay, so for the first No Status I actually got because I was friends with this guy who's actually not a part of No Status, but he's also like an artist, and he's friends with some of the guys there. He's friends with Winter, who started kind of like No Status, and he put me on Winter because Winter was like, oh, I need some like female vocals for a track, and my friend was like, oh yeah, like I know this girl Farah, and so I literally sang on some like vocals for Winter's track. He never released it because he wanted to redo it, but then he was like, oh, I have a show coming up, do you want to perform at it? And I was like, oh my god, yes, I would love to do that. So I basically got that show, and as you can see, I've done a lot of shows. Not a lot of R&B shows. Not a lot of R&B shows. Yeah. I've been called out for this, actually. They're like, you're performing at a lot of rap shows. And I'm like, it's because I'm friends with these guys, you know? Like, this is like the crew, you know?
You're
so,
tapped
like,
into the rap scene.
Exactly, which is like, and a lot of times when people see me on the stage, somebody actually told me, they're like, I thought you were a rapper. And I was like, you thought I was a rapper? I was like looking over like bubblegum pink fluffy stuff. And I'm about to like spit the hardest 18 you've ever heard. Like, no. But it's just funny because there is that preconceived notion that I am about to do that, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, oh my god, that's just so funny.
Well,
but yeah,
it's kind of must be hard to find R&B specific R&B shows.
the thing is, I feel like I'm just so tapped in with a lot of like my friends that do the rap scene already, you know. So I need to tap in more now with like the R&B scene and try to get more shows with that. I really want to get more shows with that because then I can tap in with more of my fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I am meeting like some of the stragglers at these rap shows that are like, oh my god, I love R&B and neo soul stuff, you know. But a lot of the times, like I will hit so much more of my demographic if I do more like R&B inclined shows, you know. But yeah, that was definitely how that whole thing started. And then I did more shows with them. They did No Status 2. And then they did another No Status again, I think. Yeah, they did a lot of No Statuses. Good for them. That's like really dope.
Good for them.
But the one at the Hard Luck Bar, that's the one I remember the most. That one was an amazing show. I think it's the most people I've brought out to a show.
How many?
I brought out like 20 people, I think.
Oh, shit.
Just me, though. Just me.
Just you.
Just me, yeah.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
But pretty hard to get people out in the city, you know?
so difficult.
So like I was like, okay, like 20 people, that's a lot, you know? And like, but that was like really dope. I had so many people come out to the show, and
Were
I
you
met
the only performer?
No. There was like a bunch of other people. There
But
was
you
like
brought 20 with you.
yeah, I brought 20 with me.
Crazy numbers. Wow, that's nuts. Man.
Yeah, but like it was just, it felt really good to kind of perform on stage and have everybody like just like actually engaged and watching. Like that was a really, really good show. And I think that's where I became closer friends with like Allie and everybody, like, and even Calvin is friends with this guy Dre, who produces a bunch of his stuff, and I actually produce a little bit with Dre now. So it's just like really cool how everybody in the No Status like kind of like family is like so nice, and you were all kind of friends. Even like today, I know Allie is friends with you, and I think like I kind of was put on that other show, the Halloween show, because of Allie. He's like, oh yeah, like I got you, and I was like, what? Like that's so dope, you know? So it's really like about building those connections with people, you know, and them kind of like you supporting them and like them supporting you, like a community.
Yeah, Farah, sorry. I always get it confused.
It's okay.
Farah was supposed to perform at the Booze and Booze Bash this past weekend, October 28th, and we had just mentioned it last week. Calvin was also supposed to perform at that.
And you were supposed
You were
to.
supposed to
I was
perform.
supposed
Don't
to
forget about
perform.
this guy. Come on.
I was supposed to perform, and it didn't end up happening. There was some venue issues, unfortunately. So I guess this is actually a perfect time to ask since we're almost on time.
Ooh.
What's next for Farah the Misguided? What's next for you? When's your next show? When's your next project? Like what's going on?
So I actually was supposed to release my new single "I Wanna" on November 4th, but due to some delays with the cover art and some with the mix, I want to really perfect that mix. It's gonna be pushed back, I think, a little bit, maybe like a week or two, which really sucks. But I really am like focused on the quality of my music, and I want it to be really good. So I'm gonna push it back a little bit more, and maybe I'll even do like a two-sided kind of like release. Maybe I'll do 2 singles. We'll see.
Ooh.
Very nice. Very
Like
nice.
one of those like doubles?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like kind of like that. But in terms of shows, I do want to hold my own show before the end of the year with like a live band, and I want to have like other acts performing with me. So we'll see if I'm able to do that.
Nah, I have confidence. It'll happen.
Yeah, but also I'm performing, I believe, November 18th at the Cube. It's in Toronto. Toronto. It's like 10 minutes from here. We're having a dope show. It's on Instagram at The Cube, and it's going to be really, really exciting that I'm performing there. And I think I might have a couple instrumentalists with me, so it's going to be cool.
That's sick. We'll put the Cube's Instagram link in the bio of the YouTube video that's going to be posted in just a couple minutes. So you guys can find the performance, how to get there, all the details that way.
Yeah, and just for the viewers, you want to share your socials, plug anything? Go for it,
Yeah. Like I am literally Farah the Misguided on everything. So it's FARAH the Misguided.
We will also put that in the link in
Right
the
down
bio.
there in the bio.
It might already be there.
Yeah, right now, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. As you're watching this.
It's not there.
No.
It's not. You're lying.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, Farah, for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you. That was our second episode of Voices on Earth. Again, happy. I can't find my mask now. Happy Halloween. Yeah, throw it out.
Happy
Throw it out. Yeah.
Halloween. Thank you for having me, guys.
Sorry.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next week on Voices on Earth. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Farah.
Yeah, thank you, Farah.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.